Hey, welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. Thank you for joining me. Now, obviously, we're going to talk about SNAP benefits today. We're going to talk about the changes that you may have already seen this month, as well as the changes that may come down the road. Whether or not those happen, I don't know for sure. But let's talk about what's going on currently. Some of you may have noticed a decrease in your food stamp allotment or your SNAP benefits for this month. That's because the emergency allotments that were given during COVID, during the height of COVID, um, are going away. Some states had already gotten rid of them, but 32 states still had them. And so that puts millions of people at risk of not being able to feed themselves. Now, the thing is, not everybody is going to see the same fluctuation. They're not going to see the same decrease because it's all a matter of your family size, your income, and your state, right? Now, say for example, if you're a family of one, say you're getting $250, and say that's what's the top, because I believe it's 281. I think is the top for a household of one. Um, but say it was 250, and you were only getting 200, so you got an extra bump to get you to the maximum for your household size. You would be losing that difference. At least it's how what it has read what the USDA's website was telling me. Now, for millions of people, this is going to be a problem. It's going to create a problem with food shortages for them. It's going to create what they're calling pushing people over the hunger cliff in some places. But I'm going to give you a number for help for that here in just a second. That way, you at least have contact ways to contact somebody if you're in a bad spot and you need some food. There's usually in most places there are food banks somewhere or somebody willing to help. Um, Organizations like in East Texas, we have the East Texas Food Bank that helped my family out for a while. Um, they've helped lots of people. You've got some charities all around the country. You got a charity in Ohio, Half a Gay Day, that does a lot of help for locals there. And there's all sorts of other organizations. So let me get you that number in case you need it. There's the USDA Hunger Hotline. The Hunger Hotline connects callers with emergency food providers in their community, government assistance programs, and various social services. The number for that is 866 3 Hungry. 866 3 Hungry. They're open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. So I'll be sure to put that information in the description below today. That way you have people to call in case you or somebody you know is having issues with food. Because I believe everybody deserves to eat. I don't believe anybody should go hungry. And so that's what's going on there. There are some people that are going to feel the pinch more than others. Some people won't feel it at all. Other people, like some seniors and elderly, senior elderly people that are only getting one income from Social Security, might go down as low as $23 a month for their Social Security. I mean, not for Social Security, but for their food stamps, which is absolutely devastating for some of them. And they're not going to be able to make ends meet. So if you know somebody that's in that situation, get them this number. Try to find them the help they need. Um, Now, moving forward, now they are working on the agriculture bill, also known as the farm bill, which sets the rules on who's allowed to have food stamps, who's not. What the income limits are and things like that. And those are coming. You know, there's some changes that may happen. Um, Not all of them are bad from what I'm seeing, but there's definitely some good things. Now, part of the argument Congress has for getting rid of the emergency allotments for SNAP is a program that was in the omnibus package that is a permanent summer program for school children who qualify for these programs to make sure they get fed every summer. Because one of the big things that happens in the summertime is parents all of a sudden have to, feed their kid, multiple times a day as opposed to just maybe breakfast and dinner, or even sometimes just dinner, right? All of a sudden they have to come up with breakfast and lunch. And so for low income people, that can be difficult, especially when you're trying to raise a healthy child, right? And so there's a program that they passed in the omnibus package that passed back in December that says the kids are going to get fed. Parents will get $40 per eligible child, for per child in the household for an eligible family. So that could be a big boost to a lot of people. The thing is, that doesn't kick in until the summer. So what parents do until then, I do not know. I wish I had more answers on that front, but I don't. Another change that could possibly be coming is what was requested by the head of the food assistance wing of the agriculture department that controls SNAP, suggested a program change. Basically, in there's a program for SNAP that is a program that helps people get trained for jobs, helps them get child care and things like that to make sure they can get back on their feet and back to working. And that's a very great program. But the person wants the head of the department wants one change to that program. Right now, those people are losing their SNAP benefits for the money they make while training, and it lowers their food stamps to a point that they may not even be able to survive until they get full employment, because sometimes you don't get paid the same during training as you would during an actual job. So it has to do with workforce training. What they want to do is get rid of that stipulation to where people on that program won't have to lose their income or lose money right away, where they can work, as they work and they get through when they get through with their training, then, as their pay increases, their SNAP benefits would come down, which makes sense, right? So I think it's a great change that could happen. I don't think these people should be being penalized for working. That's the biggest problem I have with SNAP benefits. The moment you get a job, you lose your SNAP benefits. In many states, like in Texas, like they tell you you have to work 20 hours a week. And then once you meet 20 hours a week, boom, you're off the program for the most part. Because we were on food stamps. My wife got a job, got one paycheck of about $300 for her training, for working at Walmart. And boom, our food stamps went from $200 to $80 to no dollars. But the first cut was for a $300 check, or it was like $300 or $400 check, and all of a sudden she got one check, and all of a sudden our food stamps went from 200 to 80. And then the very next week, Texas sent us another letter, said, "Yeah, when she got 2 weeks later when she got paid again, okay, you're down to 50." 2 weeks later when she got paid again, and then I got my SSI check that next month, boom, zero. So that's how that went, right? And so I don't think people that are training for a job, especially if they're on this program, should lose their benefits or any of their benefits while they're training. I don't think you should lose benefits just for working. I think there should be a higher threshold to the amount of money you can make. Now, some of the numbers have changed, and I wish I could find all the changes that have been made. But I'm going to read you a few of them here that I have found throughout the last few days. Okay. Now, this is from Yahoo Finance, formerly referred to as Food Stamp Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, is a government welfare program that provides assistance to families and individuals suffering from food insecurity. As many as 41.2 million U.S. citizens, or about 1 in 8, participated in this program just last year. And that's what they're saying in their headline there. Now, let's talk about this. There was a cost of living adjustment that was baked into the omnibus package and everything. That dated in the increase though came in October at the start of the fiscal year, October 1, 2022. It was the cost of living increase was 12.5%. That means, and that says here, this means that households receiving 500 in SNAP benefits from October 1, 2021 to September 30, 2022 will get an increase to 562 for the fiscal year of October 1, 22 to October 1, or to September 30, 23. Also, starting on October 1st of last year, these are things that I did not see because there's so much other stuff going on that I didn't even notice this stuff was changing, or I would have put this video out last year sometime. I didn't realize that some of these changes had happened. Higher payouts is one of the things that they started doing in October of 2022. Starting October 1, 2022 and running until September 30, 2023, SNAP recipients will receive higher benefit amounts. And the values will depend on the qualifying household, and this is the differences in sizes, right? A single person, as opposed to what they were getting, the increase will be 281 for an individual. Supposedly, that's the max. These are the max numbers that you can get. Um, Two person, it's 516. Three person, 740, and it goes on to all the way to eight. A family of eight getting 1,600 as opposed to 1,504. They're apparently trying to make the things a little easier for people too to qualify. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. I had a text I had to deal with. And I would have just stopped the video, but I've tried to make this video 6 times today, so I'm just gonna go with it. It says easier eligibility limits to qualify for SNAP benefits. Households must have a net monthly income below these levels, with different limits applying to different states, including Guam, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Alaska, and residents of Hawaii. Starting October 1, 2022, limits were increased for the following: a household of one, for example, they increased the income from, let's see, from 1,074 to 1,133. Household size of two from 1452 to 1526 a month. So that was helpful, right? That's helpful to some people that are right there on the cusp anyway, right there on the edge of not being able to get help. Then all of a sudden they're able to get help, and so I think that's really helpful for some people. But also I think that these arbitrary limits are really insanely low. You literally have to be almost homeless to be able to get any help. And the thing is, you have people that are having to choose between paying their rent, paying their mortgage, or buying food. These numbers should really be higher, because I've known people that make $1,600 or $1,700 a month as a individual, but their rent, because of where they're stuck living, their rent could be $1,100, $1,200. They still have to pay their light bill after that. Doesn't make sense to me. Asset limits were increased. Like households with at least one member whose age is 60 or older or is disabled, it's up to, you can have assets of 4,250, up from 3,750. All other households, like able-bodied people, can have up to 2,750 up from 2,500. So these are just some changes that have happened, and I think it's going really well for some people. Right? I think this is going to be very helpful for some people, but then again, these are people that have money, right, or have a little bit of money lying around. And so, what about those that don't have any money, that don't have any savings or assets? You know, what about these people? What about the people that are struggling? Why isn't our government doing anything to help them more? Like they say they had to get rid of the emergency allotment so they could fund the stuff for the children. And I understand funding stuff for the children, but there's no reason you should have had to take food out of people's mouths. I think that's just wrong. And I don't support that whatsoever. The people in Congress, the president, y'all are all wrong. There are people out there that are gonna find themselves in dire straits because of this. And I'm absolutely appalled that you're okay with it. Everybody should it should be a human right to eat, to have food. It should be a human right, not something that the government deems is okay for a while or whatever. With the price of food right now, people need help. They need money for food. Now, sure, some prices are coming back down. I've seen beef coming back down. I've seen eggs coming back down. I've seen milk come down. People are still struggling with other goods and things like gas as well. Fuel for their cars to get to and from work. Gas isn't crazy right now, but it's still high. It's still hurting people. The people that actually are out looking for work or out trying to get a job or out, actually, going to work, they're losing a lot of money, and nobody seems to care that they're having to take that out of their food budget. Or an elderly woman may have to choose between her diabetes medication and eating. May have to choose between that, you know, her medication for, a heart condition, for food, or they may have to lose their home so they can eat, and that's not right. That's not America. That's not the America I know. Anyways, this has been your SNAP food update or benefits update for 2023. I'll be back with more on this topic later on as the Farm Bill gets closer to passing and we see more about what's going to happen. Of course, with the Republicans in the House, God knows. But right now, things seem okay. I don't see Joe Biden passing massive cuts of any kind to the SNAP program, especially going into the end of this year, going in as he's going into the reelection campaign. You know, but anyways, this has been the Big Ranch Show. I've been your host. I'll see you down the road.